What is going on, everybody? It is Ghost Bandit here. Today, I want to talk about one of my unpopular opinions. And, general disclaimer, my wife does not agree with this opinion, and she wanted it to be known. So, if you hang out in Prime groups on Facebook, or you hang out at the terminal, you talk to people, or you're talking to other trainees and stuff, you're going to see that everybody is pretty happy at Prime. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a happy guy at Prime. I like it here. Pays decent and everything. Now, the other thing that you will find is that people try to build up your confidence in any way they can. And what I mean by that is that people will tell you, you'll post, I did my first, alley dock back today or whatever on the, and I'm mostly talking about Facebook groups here, and specifically the PSD and TNT one, just because I see it there the most. So people will post that they did their first alley dock today, and he will get 10 congratulations. Somebody will post that they backed into their very first dock while they're out on PSD, 10, 20 congratulations. Now, what I will say about myself, number one, is I don't agree with congratulating people over doing something that's not really that big of an accomplishment in my eyes. But that is an argument for a different day. What we're going to talk about today is what that does to people who are trying to come to Prime and why that causes problems. And some of the other drivers some of the other trainers, other drivers may disagree with this, but honestly, I think that's what causes a lot of people to fail once they get to TNT. Priming PSD and TNT group, you will see basically the people who post in that group log. What you will see, of course, is they'll post that they've trifected, and everybody will congratulate them. The most congratulations that you'll ever see on a single post is going to be for people who have passed and got their CDL. You see a lot less people congratulate people when they graduate out of TNT. Why is this a problem? PSD is easy, guys. Getting your CDL is easy. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I mean, sometimes longer. I mean, if you need a little more help. But for most people, 2 weeks. And a lot of people spend way more time on the pad than I did. My trainer, we left. I did 4 hours on the pad in Pittston, 4 hours on the pad in Springfield, 4 hours on the pad again in... Actually, I didn't even do 4 hours the third time. I think I did like 2 hours last time, okay? A total of 10 hours on the pad. That's it. That's it. You'll have people getting trained by in-house trainers that do 4 hours on the pad every single day for 2 weeks. Like, if I can do it with 10 hours on the pad versus they're like 40, like this is not hard, okay? That's number one. Number two, and why I think it causes people to fail out of TNT, they think that's the hard part. They think it's hard. That's easy, alright? PSD is the easiest part of trucking that you're going to deal with. First off, there's two of you doing one job, okay? In PSD, you're sitting up here, you're driving, whatever. He's sitting there watching you drive. He's making sure that you're not missing your exit. When you're backing up, your trainer's going to, hopefully, if he's a good trainer, he's going to get out, he's going to look, he's going to spot you, make sure you're, backing in easily, make sure you get, first or second try. That's easy, right? TNT, you're alone. TNT is where it gets real. TNT is where there's no longer, help. I'm not saying that my trainer didn't help me during TNT, because he would. He was great, I could wake up if I needed to. But arguably, the backing isn't even the hard part of TNT. When I moved into TNT, I was excited. I thought this is the good part. This is going to be so much better than PSD. I'm just going to be driving by myself. One part that is nice about TNT, that lowered your stress a lot, is now nobody's watching you. You know, you can just drive and, you know, get where you're going. Alright, I gotta yawn. I've been driving for a while today. So yeah, there's nobody watching you, so that's kind of nice. But the truth of the matter is it's boring up here. Number one, like, this is a boring part. I do videos sometimes when I'm driving because I'm freaking bored. Got nothing going on up here. If I'm not, I'm usually listening to like YouTube or music or audiobooks. But even that stuff gets boring after a while. Sometimes I'll sit up here and drive in the silence because I'm just tired of listening to stuff. I'm just bored of it all. Oh. Then, not to mention, by the way, that in PSD at least you get to sleep. TNT, your body is not designed to run for 10 hours, then sleep for 10 hours. It's just not designed for that. It wants to be awake for 16 and asleep for 8. Okay? And that's a problem if you're doing 10 on, 10 off. Now, we actually did 12 on, 12 off, and my trainer was actually fantastic. And usually let me sleep in most days, so I actually usually got more sleep than I needed. Oh, sorry. But the truth of the matter is that when people quit, it's in TNT. They don't quit in PSD. They don't quit going up to get their CDL. They might flunk out trying to get their CDL, but they don't quit then because that part's easy. Getting PSD, going through PSD is just like opening the door. Okay? Getting through TNT is like opening the door and then fighting 4 guys. Okay? Like, it's a whole new experience, and it's something that most of you have never done, I hope. I hope none of you have been in a street brawl where you've had to fight 4 guys. That sounds like a terrible situation. I will tell you that nobody here ever wants to do TNT again. Especially not as like a new guy. Like, I don't know how these trainers do it. Yeah, they get paid a lot, but you couldn't pay me enough. There's no way. None of us would choose to do it again, though. Like, if you told me, hey man, you want to go through PSD again? Hell yeah, man. If I got paid the same as I get paid now solo, I would just do PSD all the time. Like, that's not that bad. I've thought about, what I'm gonna do later on. Honestly, if this keeps going the way it goes and I stay here for really, and like after my lease contract's up with this truck, if I stay here, I might just do PSD students. Like PSD is not bad, PSD is easy. So I think it's a problem when you're on these Facebook groups and you see all these people congratulating these people building up their confidence during PSD. They trifecta, and then they realize once they're in TNT that this isn't a joke. Like, what you did before was basically a joke. Like, PSD is a joke. Passing the test is a joke. Like, yeah, you have to be a little bit confident, but even if you're not confident, like, as long as, you can remember the steps that they tell you, it's not that hard. It's really not. You might not pass it your first try, but most pass it their second. TNT, on the other hand, man, I'd be willing to bet the failure rate's like 50%. And the reason why I say this is because, first off, a lot of people coming to Prime don't have very many options, right? Whether they need money for whatever reason, I came to Prime. I was working with AAA beforehand as a tow truck driver. I knew what driving was like. I knew what to expect. But a lot of people don't. They think it's going to be one way, and it's not, and they flunk out. And I think that the way that it is portrayed in these PSD and TNT, now you're probably not going to be in the PSD and TNT group until you get here. Like, most people, I didn't even know about it until I was already like 90% of the way through my TNT course. So odds are you might not be in there before you get here. But once you get here, all that group does is build you up, build you up, build you up, build you up. You get your CDL, you're all excited, and then right after that, TNT just punches you right in the face. Okay? Like, everybody thinks this is a great job, right up until TNT punches you in the face. Now, I think anybody can make it through. Anybody who wants to can make it through TNT. And the reason why I bring up that a lot of people don't have a choice is because they look up all these things. They look up how hard it is to get their license, right? And because they think that's the hard part. The truth is that it's not the hard part. That's the easy part. You know, you want to come out here, you want to be a trucker. Some people even have their license before they get here. They paid the money to go to the school. And they got the license before they got here, and they were so excited. You know, they were worried to come here because they knew getting the license was the hard part. They get here, and they realize finally that that's not the hard part. The hard part is being gone. The hard part is all the stuff that you miss when you're on the road. I'm not going to get like emotional feeling right now, but I left the job that I had because I needed and wanted more money. You know, my wife and I have some things that, you know, need to get taken care of, so I needed more money. And I knew what I was giving up going into it, but, you know, because I'm not the guy that celebrates birthdays and stuff like that, it didn't really matter to me, but it takes a toll on her, you know? A lot of people are on here. One of the big complaints you'll see too is people complaining about they don't get enough home time. The truth is, well, first off, I've had a lot of home time, a lot more than I should have had, just because I was in the area. But the truth of the matter is that if you're thinking about home time, like, this may not be for you. And I'm not saying that from like a place of like you can't handle it. I'm saying it from a place of, if you even have any notion that like you want to see your family, that like oh, you know, if you're that type of person who's like, oh, I'm gonna be out for 3 weeks, and then you're a day late to home time or whatever, and like that's gonna upset you, like, this just isn't the job for you, unfortunately. And I really hope that people start being more honest about, especially in these groups where you have all these people, you know, who are just coming in. I really hope that people are more honest about the truth about TNT, how tough that is, and that getting your CDL is a small drop in the bucket compared to the emotional toll, the mental toll, and to some people the physical toll. I don't know. That's not really bothering me all that much, but getting through your PSD is nothing. And if you want somebody else's thoughts on this, Driver Lineup did a great video on this, talking about how TNT is the toughest thing he's ever gone through in life, basically. And I'm sure that a lot of other people would agree. And like I said, I'm willing to hazard a guess that if basically that probably 90% of the people working at Prime wouldn't be willing to do TNT again. You know, there's one thing being a trainer, and at least you're in control, you get to decide things, you're making more money, like the payoff is there. There's not enough payoff for me to sit next to somebody else, be second chair to somebody, make less money, and go through that much stress. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I know this is kind of a sadder video compared to the rest of my stuff. And I'm not saying, and I have one more thing I want to add, and that is that I'm not saying don't come to Prime, don't, you know, you should, you know, not be happy that you got your CDL. What I am telling you is that don't think that you're through the hard part once you have your CDL, okay? Do not get so excited that you've gotten your CDL that you forget that the hard part is next, alright? there is light at the end of the tunnel once you're done with TNT, obviously. Solo is great. You still have that mental, physical, and emotional toll. Well, not physical, just mostly mental and emotional, not me. But, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I'm sorry that my visuals have been crap driving through crappy Ohio today on my way to Alabama. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about TNT, about PSD, about what it's like to be on the road, feel free to ask them down below. I answer any and all comments, and I read any and all comments. Anyways, have a great day, and keep it rubber side down, people. Be safe out there.